Sometimes the biggest secrets are hiding in the most obvious places. We're about to start with just one single ordinary word, and we're going to follow it to uncover something huge about language itself. All right, let's dive in. Okay, here it is, our starting point. The word is feather, and the definition? The things which cover birds. I mean, you can't really get much clearer or simpler than that, can you? It's almost, childlike in how simple it is. But that simplicity, that's our first clue. So this definition comes from the Simple English Wiktionary, which is a project where everything is written using a really basic vocabulary. The whole point is maximum clarity, especially for people who are, say, learning the language. So yeah, that super simple definition, totally on purpose. In fact, it's the entire point. Now, if we pull up the actual page where this definition lives, it looks pretty standard, right? You've got the word, the pronunciation, the meaning, but there's this little detail hiding right there in plain sight among all the usual dictionary stuff that just changes everything. It's kind of like there's a key that unlocks this whole story, and that key is just one single sentence. And honestly, it's so easy to miss. You could scroll right past it a dozen times and not even notice. So let's zoom in a little. If you scan the page, past all the links and the pronunciation guides, you'll find it. A little note in italics. Doesn't look like much, but trust me, this is where the story gets really interesting. So what does it say? And there it is. Feather is on the Basic English 850 list. And just like that, this stops being just a simple definition. Now it's part of a system, a list. So the obvious question is, what on earth is the Basic English 850 list? Well, that one little sentence, it just blows the doors wide open to this really radical idea, a minimalist version of the English language, one that was designed from the ground up to be as easy as possible to learn for people all over the world. Say Basic English isn't just, simple English. It's a whole constructed system. The big idea was to create a totally functional language tool with the absolute fewest words you'd need to have a normal, clear conversation. And that brings us to the magic number, 850. The people who created Basic English, they figured that with a super carefully chosen list of just 850 words, you could pretty much say anything you needed to say in everyday life. I mean, think about that. A global language, boiled right down to its absolute core. It's so ambitious. Okay, so here's the kicker. Once you know about this 850-word list, that whole Wiktionary page for feather suddenly makes perfect sense. You can see how every little piece of it is designed to help with that one big goal, simple, universal understanding. Take something as small as the pronunciation, for example. It doesn't just give you one way to say it, it gives you both the UK and the US versions. And that right there tells you from the get-go, this is for a global audience, for people in different places where English sounds different. And this is where you can really see the whole system in action. The definition, it only uses other super simple words from that core list. The related words, they link feather to another basic word, wing, building out this whole web of understanding. And the structure of the page itself is just so clean and clear. It's a masterclass in designing for clarity. So what's the big deal? Why does this even matter? Because this idea of a simple, stripped-down core language, it's unbelievably powerful. It's a tool that lets ideas just leap across borders, across different languages and cultures so easily. And if you want proof, here it is. If you look over on the side of that original page for feather, that number, that's how many other languages have their own version of this exact same simple entry. Yeah, 62 languages. So this really isn't just about English anymore, is it? It shows that when you make a piece of information this clear, this simple, and this well-structured, it's like a perfect little seed of information that you can plant in all these other languages. It just goes to show simplicity really is universal. So think about where we started. We went from the things which cover birds all the way to a global communication system built on just 850 words. It's amazing proof that just because you start simple, it doesn't mean you're thinking small. And that kind of leaves us with a challenge, right? A final question for you. What's the biggest, most complicated idea you can think of, and how would you explain it using only the simplest words?